I'm going to try to shoot handheld as much as possible today. And this lens is an 80mm, so I just always want to be conscious of what my shutter speed is. So at least 1/125th or over as long as I'm on this handheld setup. So I want this RC Cola being the main focus of my shot, and we're going to get the sunlight here, so that's 1/500th of a second at f11. So right now I'm at an old car dealership here called Teague & Sons. Inside here are these two lamps that are being lit by the sunlight right now, and I just find it to be a really interesting frame. I'm going to try to avoid the glare of the window as much as possible, and hopefully I don't get myself in it. The light going all the way through the window over here, I'm just going to see if it reads a little differently from over here or not. So we're reading 511, which is the same indirect sunlight. So I don't think there's going to be much of a difference at all. So those are the settings, 1/500th at f11. I really would like to attempt to try and get some of the signage of Teague & Sons up here, but I just don't think it's legible enough to read. So in the shade here, it looks like I could still shoot at a 500th of a second, but it'd be at about 2.8. I want a little bit more of the scene in focus, and just to ensure overall clarity of the image, I'm gonna go with 1/125th at 5.6. So I was initially thinking about having the central area of the image be the corner, but I think that might be in one of the thirds. The barbed wire on the corner is interesting, but I don't think I'll be able to squeeze it in, so I think that'll be on the third, and the other end of the tin structure will be the other third. I'm focusing on the tree. I really like the pop of red, and I find it interesting that you can see the courthouse in the background. So for this scene, I'm going to be metering for the sunlight here, which is reading at an 11. So presumably I'll be doing 1/500th at f11. Once again, so far the light has been really constant right now. We're not really getting much change, and that's good. I'm focusing on the door frame, and I really like this composition. I really like the colors, but also now I'm looking, I didn't even see the yellow on that pole, so I'm going to include more of the scene than just focusing simply on the red and blue. So you have red, blue, yellow, and green. Instead of including the top of the building, I'm going to include the sidewalk to get some of that shadow play down there. Something I've seen other photographers talk about is how the process of making these videos is kind of a weird thing. I don't really typically shoot one roll in an event like this. Before starting today, I did a walk around and just kind of found some shots that I liked. I only saw about 4 or 5, but the more the day has gone on, I found more. It's just really interesting to kind of force myself to take these photos, but at the same time, I feel like I'm getting a lot done and shooting a lot more than I ever would have. So, I mean, I wouldn't be here today trying to find new photos if it wasn't for this. I find the medium of photo vlogs really interesting. I'm gonna try and shoot this scene right here in some way. If we're looking at this, it will be same exact settings, 500th, f11. So I think this photo is going to be very yin and yang. I have one of these little graded windows in the shade and then one in the light. I just like this nice slice of light, and you're shooting on color, so look for color. Got the blue in the sky, the yellow in the shade, and a little bit of green at the bottom of the picture. So I like it. So let's take it. This is another really great scene for color. We got this mint with the red. I'm gonna do 1/125th, 5.6. Now let's find the composition. So this is me metering for the shade. So I'm still able to get the car wash in. There's just not as much sun to where if I do lose the background, it'll be a lot more manageable than what my initial composition was. Right on the other side are these bikes. And I mean, they're too good not to get. So if we're doing 1/125th again, it's 5.6. I'm also getting this small patch of light right now, which might grow as I'm setting up my shot. I really like it, so that's at an 11. 5.6. So if I take it now, it shouldn't be too overpowered. If I take it vertically. Really like that one. For such a dingy brown colored building to have the color of the bikes plus the mint plus the sunlight, it's very interesting. Going back to 1/500th and 11. I'm just taking photographs. Just for fun. Just for fun. Of the car wash? Huh? Of the car wash? Yeah. So should I not? I don't think so. I don't think I would like it. Okay. So I got turned away from shooting the car wash over there earlier. I didn't really want to deal with it, and I might go back, but I mean, the lighting is perfect right now, but I don't know, maybe she was just taking me from a photography cliche. Let's just go with that. Time to photograph the abandoned shed. I'm gonna go with about 1/250th at an 8. I could shoot the whole thing, but I'm gonna kind of shoot the light as it's peering in through the bramble here. Or at least I was, but it doesn't look very good. I'm gonna try and move in without getting my shadow and everything. So scratching that composition again, I'm gonna go with the shed in more of a full shot, but still at an angle where you can see through. So now I'm focusing more on just what the light of the shed is. So that's 1/250th f11. So I think I want to photograph something on this field. As a kid, I played a lot of baseball on fields just like this. And I don't know, I mean, it's just a little bit nostalgic for me. I'm thinking of maybe framing up this pole with where home plate would be. It looks like there isn't a plate, that they would have to bring plates whenever the kids would practice. So yeah, I might try and get the concession stand too if anything's worthwhile down there, but that's what I'm thinking for this photo. Once again, 1/500th f11. If you didn't already guess, 1/500th f11. So the light is starting to change a little bit, so I'm going to do 1/500th at f8. I said I wasn't going to get the city hall, but I find it really interesting that you see this from the field. It's another rural shot. I'm kind of looking for these shots that show that. And I mean, what says rural America like baseball and city politics? I'm gonna go a little bit further back just because I don't want to risk falling on my ass for a video and a shot. Right now I have this tree framing City Hall, which I think is really nice. So the final shot is going to be of this restaurant called Milano Pizza. I don't want to be too noticeable, but I just need to get a light reading of the shadows here. I think that matters more than the sign. So like a 500 2.8. So if I do a 1/25th, I'll get a 4th. So that's what I'm going to do. Now to just figure out the composition. Starting to debate if whether I should be getting the sign instead. An 11 versus a 4. I think that kind of matters, so I'm gonna go an 8. Okay, this is it. Can't just be standing in the middle of the road. "15 photos in Mount Vernon, Texas." Overall, I would say the shoot went really well. I'm excited with the shots that I got. And I'll bring it over to myself at home and we'll go over these scans. Overall, this was a really great shoot. I mean, what can I really say about Portra 400? I mean, I kind of went out of favor of Portra for a bit just because of, you know, the general discourse about like trying to shoot a film stock other than Portra. And so it's been a little bit since I've shot it, but I mean, man, the result and just the flat scans even, like with Portra in Lightroom, I don't really have to do much editing. It's just kind of great. I kind of forget just how versatile and just what a performance that Portra 400 gives. In terms of some of my favorites from this shoot, I really like the bleacher shot. I think the colors of it are great, and I just love the look of it. It just reminds me of my baseball days a lot. And then I also really like the Tom Ramsey Realty, just the colors, the composition, the light shining through and the shadows. I really like it a lot. In terms of probably my least favorite photo from the shoot, I really didn't like the red chair reflection photo, mainly because my camera was in the shot, and I mean, I think that's just something I'm gonna learn about, you know, it just kind of happens, and you know, you just kind of figure it out along the way. I don't typically have another camera with me whenever I shoot, so I didn't think to look about it in the reflection, but you know, it's a lesson learned. Kind of wish I could have gotten the car shot, but I mean, I was still able to get that small composition as I was framing it up for the video, and so I like that. It was a really fun evening exploring Mount Vernon, and I'm really glad to have been able to have gone. I definitely want to shoot a little bit more Portra 400 in the future, or maybe even a little bit of Portra 800 on 120. I haven't actually done that yet. If you like what you saw, please subscribe. My next video is going to take place in Mineola, Texas, as I once again explore another small town here in Northeast Texas, and I have a few other surprises sprinkled in there. So I'll see you soon.